There's some tense moments as bullets fly during a police chase.
I'm Jacqueline Chappell on the scene of breaking news. I'll tell you how this pursuit came to an end and the new information we just learned from police.
Plus, Capitol Hill.
I am no longer your fixer, Mr. Trump.
The president's former attorney opens up to Congress. Why some say his testimony can't be trusted. It's all right now at 5.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us at this hour. I'm Eli Roberts.
And I'm Heather Holman. The forewarned storm team told us this would happen, and did it ever. Winter weather turned roads into skating rinks. Also lots of accidents and falls out there.
Indeed. And the big question today is, will tonight be a repeat of what we saw last night? And for the answer, let's get you to Mike Morgan, who is in the forewarned Storm Weather Center. Mike.
Well, Eli, you know, there is still some freezing fog and freezing drizzle out there. It's making an effort to lighten up, but it's also doing a nice job at sticking around. So roads are still really problematic, especially those elevated surfaces, bridges and overpasses. We are 12 degrees below 32 right now in Oklahoma City, and it's still pretty thick too, with some freezing fog and freezing drizzle. You can see it right here from our various cameras and our storm trackers outside. We'll check with them for the afternoon drive. Belle Isle Bridge, folks are going slowly there. But they're getting across the elevated surface okay. So it's still very much winter in control. There is the Belle Isle. That guy's going kind of fast. God, when trucks go by fast, that is just really makes your kind of grip the steering wheel, doesn't it? Don't like that. So anyway, still some icy patches there. Road crews have done a good job, but it's tough when you have freezing drizzle, freezing fog, and only 21 degrees. A north wind at 24, gusting to 29 miles per hour. And look at these temperatures from the low 30s to the upper teens right now with a driving north wind. Our wind chill factor all the way down to 4 here in Oklahoma City and 8 in Clinton. Here are the road conditions from the OHP. Slick in the orange. That includes portions of the metro, slick spots in the blue for the Oklahoma City Metro, and the traveler's advisory continues for the rest of this evening. Let's go to Mark Dillard now live for your afternoon drive.
Yes, Mike, I'm actually on the Belle Isle right now and just have that sheen of wet moisture on the road, probably ice. I haven't been slipping and sliding yet, but the traffic's been going pretty slow considering I think folks learned their lesson this morning with what happened with all the bridges and overpasses and virtually most interstates going into some sort of closure or shutdown for a time being. But I haven't seen very many accidents so far. I know Oklahoma City's working a couple, especially on the southeast side. But just traversing the area here, I haven't seen very many accidents this afternoon, so that's a good thing as folks continue to take it easy and take it slow. Back to you, Mike. That's
good news. Over 129 injury accidents just this morning. So this evening, the traveler's advisory continues. Watch those bridges and overpasses. Also bundle up with the wind chills near 0 degrees. Guys, I'm going to paint it red. Continued light freezing drizzle this evening. Temperatures in the upper teens at 10 o'clock. I'm going to have information on our next storm already on the way. That's coming up.
Mike, thank you. Slick roads are to blame for a big mess on the Broadway extension this morning. 14 vehicles were involved in this pileup near I-44. We did see one person being loaded onto a stretcher. Right now, we're unsure of their injuries or whether anyone else was hurt.
And now to some breaking news. A police officer was forced to fire his gun during a police chase this afternoon. It finally came to an end near Northwest 10th and Rockwell.
And that's where we find News 4's Jacqueline Chappell. And Jacqueline, what have you learned out there so far?
As you can see, there aren't any police here on the scene anymore as they cleared out the scene about 30 minutes ago. But we have learned that one person has been arrested. A chase through Northwest OKC ends with gunfire. Police say it started around 12:30 Wednesday afternoon when officers began chasing the driver of a silver car.
Officers were trying to find a suspect that was wanted on a homicide warrant. They've been given some information that he was in a silver Malibu type vehicle and he was in the area of I-35, 23rd and I-35.
When they tried to pull the car over, the driver refused to stop, traveling at speeds up to 110 miles per hour on I-40. The chase went on for about 5 minutes. The driver eventually stopped at this apartment complex near Northwest 10th and Glade.
When the suspect jumped out of the vehicle, he had a gun in his hand. He was running away from the officer. Officer told him to drop the gun.
The officer fired one shot, not hitting the suspect. The suspect was then arrested. Police say the 24-year-old man arrested is not the homicide suspect they were originally searching for.
We do know that the suspect is a convicted felon and he's obviously not supposed to have a gun in his possession.
And that suspect arrested has been booked into the Oklahoma County Jail. And police tell us they're not going to be releasing the name of the officer that fired that shot until tomorrow. Reporting live here in Northwest Oklahoma City, Jacqueline Chappell, Oklahoma's News 4.
So much can go wrong. Jacqueline Chappell, thank you for that. And now on to more breaking news. Police arrested a middle school student in Noble for bringing a weapon to school today. District officials say all students and staff are safe. Right now, there's no word on why that student had a gun. The incident is under investigation.
Major developments in the criminal case involving an Oklahoma City doctor. John Fuller was accused of rape and sexual battery in 2014. At that time, a handful of patients told police he touched them inappropriately. Now, new court records show charges against Fuller were dropped after he agreed to give up his practice. Fuller's attorney says his client plans to, quote, move on with his life. Oklahoma County DA David Prater has not commented.
At the Capitol, Governor Kevin Stitt says real work is needed to make government more accountable. He made those comments while speaking to reporters this afternoon. As you know, accountability was the top priority of his campaign. Currently, the House is moving forward with its reform legislation, and at the same time, the Senate is working on a measure to give the governor the ability to hire and fire directors at some of the state's agencies.
Oklahomans want to know who to hold accountable. It's time that we give them clear answers, and when we pass agency accountability, everybody will know that the buck stops at the governor's desk.
Governor Stitt also says he's excited to work with the House and the Senate, all to make Oklahoma government more accountable.
From the Sky Center, explosive testimony from President Trump's former attorney. Today, Michael Cohen told Congress the president lied about business dealings and his personal life. However, Republicans claim Cohen, a convicted felon, is a liar who's angry about being passed over for a promotion. We get now more from Omar Jimenez.
I am not protecting Mr. Trump anymore.
President Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, blasting his former boss.
Since taking office, he has become the worst version of himself. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Cohen presenting a copy of a $35,000 check as evidence Trump directed hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife, which I did.
Cohen says then candidate Trump also knew WikiLeaks would release emails damaging to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign.
Mr. Trump knew from Roger Stone in advance about the WikiLeaks drop of emails.
And Cohen claims Trump lied during the presidential campaign about his intentions to develop a Trump Tower in Russia.
He lied about it because he never expected to win.
Republicans say, as they have throughout the hearing, that Cohen isn't credible. The now disbarred lawyer pleaded guilty to tax crimes, campaign finance violations, and lying to Congress.
The first announced witness for the 116th Congress is a guy who is going to prison in 2 months for lying to Congress.
Cohen will go to prison in May for 3 years, but as today's testimony proves,
I have fixed.
He's not going quietly.
But I am no longer your fixer, Mr. Trump.
On Capitol Hill, I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
And Cohen also said he doesn't know of any direct collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia.
Well, it's a military hospital unlike what most have ever seen.
And thanks to Galen Culver, we get to go inside.
This is from 1964.
Dr. Neil Vitale doesn't have any trouble remembering the patients at his hospital in Lone Wolf. They're all named Joe. I'm Galen Culver on the next Great State, a military hospital for soldiers who served between 1964 and 1976, saving an army of millions, one soldier at a time. Next on Oklahoma's News 4.
And that looks good. Well, because of today's NBC News special report on the Michael Cohen hearing, Days of Our Lives has been preempted. We will re-air today's episode overnight at 2:30 here on Channel 4. Be sure to set your DVR to record the 2:30 and 3:30 a.m. episodes of Early Today. We'll be right back.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 5 with Heather Holman, Eli Roberts, Mike Morgan, and Brian Brinkley. Oklahoma's News 4, looking out for you. Is this a great state or what? Is sponsored by MeQ.
From 1964 to 1976, Hasbro churned out millions of G.I. Joes. Did you have any?
I think everyone did, right?
I know that was before your time, but yes.
What do you
classic.
mean? I'm only
1976?
Well, yeah, but G.I. Joes went on for a lot longer than that. Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, tonight, Galen Culver has the story of one man, a brave surgeon at a military hospital in Lone Wolf, where every patient answers to the same name.
She goes, well, you doing surgery today?
His OR is a workbench in the back room of a former beauty shop.
Let's be able to put that in there.
Surrounded by body parts and the salvage of a million backyard battlefields,
That guy's on there.
Dr. Neil Vitale saves as many G.I. Joes as he can.
For some reason, kids like to use ice picks on Joes. And unfortunately, a lot of them are burned up. $2.97 from Woolworth.
They really were a tough bunch. Starting in 1964, the first 4 Joes came from the 4 main branches of the military.
21 movable joints.
Their equipment was first-rate, too.
G.I. Joe, came with a Foot Locker, and they were all even able to make a lot of different vehicles.
Vitale still has the first 2 G.I. Joes he had as a kid.
LSO officer, and then the Air Force dress parade.
It's been a decade now since his cousin called and told Neil to come and get them out of his attic.
It was very strange to see those guys back again.
That started a search for other lost soldiers, and pretty soon he was all over eBay and anywhere else he could think of to re-enlist the original soldiers, the adventure team, the astronauts. He even learned how to cure the talkers.
And it said 8 different things.
His army was trapped in his basement for years, but Lone Wolf's surplus business space solved a space problem for Vitale's Army Hospital.
And so we decided that would be a pretty cool place to have my G.I. Joes.
This D-Day diorama covers a whole side of his little G.I. Joe museum, and soon to come, a full-out assault on the next-door real estate, too.
And so I slowly started collecting the more difficult to find ones.
A whole generation of boys, including Dr. Vitale, played with these dolls in the 60s and 70s. If these were also your comrades in arms, you can rest easy knowing their heroic acts weren't forgotten. In Lone Wolf, Galen Culver, News 4. Is this a great state or what?
Great story there. And switching gears now, another round of freezing drizzle is moving through the metro. When it moves out, and what to expect when more winter weather moves in again this weekend. Your 4-word forecast next.
I don't want to body shame anybody. Eli said it. The internet's been around for what, 25 years now, and Eli, it took until a month, 3 weeks ago for Eli to finally say the correct term. What was it you said?
I've said so many things.
You
Which
said, what was it you said about offending people on the internet? You said.
Oh, and cat videos.
Yeah, you go.
That's
you
why
can't,
everyone.
Yeah, you,
well,
you
listen,
can't say anything
yeah.
and just post cat videos. I think that's what you said.
No, I said that's why people love cat videos, because it doesn't make a point in any direction. It doesn't matter what you post. Someone will disagree with it, right?
But you won't disagree with a cat video.
Right. Exactly.
And a dog,
unless you love dogs, and then it looks ridiculous when you get into the comments. Yeah, it's easy to dismiss.
So Heather Holman, you're not under house arrest, right? Just making sure we got all that straightened out.
Not technically. I've never been arrested.
Let's do BB6 Max 1, Mark Dillard's stream. I'll voice
over. Have you been arrested,
Max
Mike?
1.
There's no response.
What am I doing? Podkey desk here?
I'll take that as a yes.
Podkey big board desk? Is that what you just said? Podkey big board desk?
Can you pull this off and it's
no,
cool?
Podkey desk.
I don't know. I haven't even charged
right?
mine yet.
Podkey desk.
Now, forewarned weather with Mike Morgan.
Well, it has been quite a day today. Over 129 injury accidents, nearly 50 injury accidents, 2 fatalities earlier today up in Blaine County. Still freezing drizzle out there right now. We'll check in with our storm trackers, let you know what to expect. It isn't quite over yet. It is so cold outside. And, given how cold it is, 20 degrees, 21 degrees, the moisture is still thick out there. And that's a little unusual for central Oklahoma to have so much moisture with it being so cold. And also a lot of pictures from our viewers here and our storm trackers. Let's check it out. Bethany here from Bryan. A lot of ice there accumulated on the trees and the exposed surfaces. Lake Hefner here down by Stars and Stripes Park. A lot of ice there on the open field coming off of Lake Hefner. So some pretty thick ice accumulation. And Aaron Brackett there in the Interceptor has seen this time and time again throughout the metro today. A lot of rollovers, a lot of cars deep down in ditches from high speed crashes. Speed is definitely your enemy on a day like this, and frankly, just don't let people push you around because it just isn't safe. Take it slow and be safe. Most important thing of all, here is the Belle Isle Bridge right here, and the traffic has been moving and slowing down some. There's a live view, and that's a good 20 to 25 mile an hour speed, so we're looking good there. Of course, a notorious elevated surface there in northwest Oklahoma City. We're 21 degrees right now with a wind chill factor of +4 and a wind from the north at 24, gusting to 32 miles an hour. Our daytime high 28 earlier this morning during the morning drive, and 20 has been our low. That was been in the past hour, and metro temperatures right now are very close to 21 degrees, about 25 around Shawnee. So windy and cold, quite cold, bitter cold this evening. Temperatures are bottoming out right now in the upper teens and low and mid 20s, and the wind chills you can see here quite a few single digits as well. Yes, the traveler's advisory continues for the rest of this evening. All of southwestern, most of southern, all of central, most of northern, and most of eastern Oklahoma. This is for ongoing freezing fog and freezing drizzle. Let's show you our view here from Mark Dillard. He's been checking the metro, and he hasn't seen too many widespread accidents, reported a few on the southeastern sides of town. There is the Crosstown 240 near Shields Boulevard, just on the southern sides of downtown Oklahoma City, and that is a good representation of your afternoon drive. Roads are damp and in some cases patchy ice, elevated surfaces, all exposed objects. And of course, that first step right out the door, ER is reporting a lot of slip and falls today with lots of broken bones. That can be the very worst of all. So do keep that in mind. We'll check back with them throughout the day. So our traveler's advisory continues. OHP slick and hazardous here in the orange shaded area. Many slick spots in the metro. That's where the blue is. So we'll go roads moderate to high impact for the rest of this evening. Elevated surfaces, bridges, overpasses will go high to extreme, as well as the wind chill factors. and we probably should have had more closings this morning than we had, especially with all that ice that we had around. Evening temperatures dipping down to the upper teens to very low 20s at 10 o'clock. Still going to paint it red here for this evening. Here comes our next storm system now north of Hawaii. It'll make tracks toward Oklahoma. It's a fast-moving system, but also has a lot of Pacific moisture with it, and it's going to tap 2 waves of very cold Arctic air. Cold enough even tonight. The moisture gradually moves out. 17 degrees in the morning, and some afternoon sun works in tomorrow, so a better day tomorrow and a high of 37. We get above freezing tomorrow afternoon. There's our low, 17. Still freezing drizzle this evening. The morning drive, though, likely totally dry. Maybe a few icy patches around left over, and temperatures will be in the mid to upper teens. Drip your faucets tonight, 9 to 15 for you folks in northern Oklahoma tonight, and 37 tomorrow. Eventually partly cloudy. Not quite as cold, and metro highs from 36 to 39 for your Thursday, and low 30s to middle 40s across our state tomorrow, with sunshine building in from western Oklahoma. Now moisture comes back on Friday, 44 for a high. Patchy drizzle by afternoon possible, and Saturday morning first Arctic blast comes in, a chance of ice developing central, northern, and northwestern Oklahoma. And here are your ice totals on Saturday. Notice this is Saturday night. Pretty good part of the state as that Pacific system comes out, and there are the snow totals. Lots of snow across Kansas and northern Oklahoma, and pretty decent snow even right here in the metro. That'll be Saturday night late into Sunday morning, and folks, that'll tap the coldest temperatures of the winter that we have seen so far. Look at Sunday's high, only 20, down to 8 on Monday morning. Temperatures moderate by the middle of next week, and more rain and a few thunderstorms possible by next Friday.
All right, it
the
just
weather's
keeps getting
just
better,
gone
doesn't
bananas.
It has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love your red paint, though.
A lot of red means ice.
Yeah.
Got to pay attention.
Glad you warned us. Sports is next. We'll be right back.